So today we're going to do some maintenance on this ADA 45P, and this is just a simple maintenance session, just showing you what I do, the products I use and the processes that I do, just because sometimes it's quite interesting to know how people maintain a tank. I know when I first started out I always wondered if I was doing things correctly, so yeah, just a quick and easy maintenance session. This tank has no stems in it, so there's not going to be any trimming or anything like that. It might just be some pruning of some older leaves. But yeah, we will get started. So we have actually got a lot of water evaporation. Normally I would drain some water out, but because this has got a better in, and the water is obviously a lot warmer, this tank does tend to evaporate quite quickly. So probably not going to need to remove any water, but I am going to start with cleaning the glass. So for that I use a mix of an algae scraper or a sponge. So I'm going to grab the first tool, which is and you don't have to use an ADA one, but we do use an ADA algae scraper. Any algae scraper is absolutely fine. Go in and just really gently scrape the glass. I have actually scratched this tank with the blade of this algae scraper, so do be careful because it's an ADA tank and it can be quite gutting when you accidentally scratch a tank, and I've done it on more than one occasion as well. It is actually quite scratched. This is my oldest tank though, I think, so you kind of expect it after a few years. Just kind of do all the sides as best you can. I kind of start from the top. I don't have particularly hard water in the area that I'm in, but I sometimes do get a bit of a white sort of, it's like a calcium type build up around the edge of the tank. But what I haven't managed to get with the blade, I will get with the sponge. And then the next super fancy tool, a toothbrush, and I just try and clean in the silicone work of the tank. Although again, after a while this does tend to sort of get a bit green with algae. You can put, when you drain the tank, you can like put Excel on it. I don't know if that would actually react with the silicone long term, but I sometimes do it every now and again when it's bad or it's stubborn. Next is just a bit of a plant inspection to see what needs any work. And to be honest, the main thing lately is I've been doing this every maintenance session, is just removing a few of the leaves on the Anubias because they're getting like a black coating, and I think it's like a hardened algae that's built up, and it's on quite a lot of the leaves. This is a very old scape now. It's probably not far off 3 years, and I've not really done much with the Anubias. It's probably only been in the last sort of 8 months where it started to look a bit rough, but I don't really want to do it all in one go because it'll look blatantly bad. So I just pinch off a few leaves every week or so during maintenance. So I'm just going to pinch some of these off. And then I just waft through the plants just to loosen up any debris or anything else that might need to come out in the water change. It is quite a bulky mass is this. It's all just like Bucephalandra and Anubias and various crypts and then a big fern. But to be honest, they're all doing mostly okay, so don't really need to do too much to that. And then try and get some of these extra leaves out. Next, I'm just going to use an algae pad just to give a bit more coverage in case I've missed anything with the blade. And this is what I love about low-tech, easy planted tanks. So this doesn't run CO2. Maybe class it as a mid-tech tank. It's got an OK light and it's got a fairly decent filter. It's got a Filter Smart Thermo 100. So it's not quite low-tech. It's maybe a bit more advanced than that. But because it hasn't got very demanding plants at all, and it's not running CO2, there's no stems. Like, maintenance on this tank is a breeze and it doesn't take very long. And when you've got multiple tanks, or you want a tank but you don't have the time, something like this is really easy. So in the back, it's just Crip Balancei. I think there's like Wender TI Brown in there as well, but I think it kind of got overtaken by the Balancei. And then in the mid-ground, there's various booths. There's a petite Java fern. Again, there's more Anubias, just ranging in sizes. And then in the foreground, I think it's called Littorella uniflora, which is a very, very slow carpeting plant, or at least it's slow without CO2 injection. But it's quite nice. It's a bit like Liliopsis brasiliensis, which I think there is some of that in there as well. And then we've just got a sand foreground with some gravel. So it's extremely easy. And it's just been one of the easiest tanks I've ever had, which is why I'm a bit reluctant to take it down. I think unless it starts looking super bad, then I'll probably just keep it because I like it. And I like maintaining it because it's so easy. And because I have 4 tanks, the easier the maintenance, the better. Don't mind one tank that takes a bit more effort, but if you had 4 tanks that took a lot of effort, like I've recently, there's a build video actually, not too long ago, set up a 45p, which is high tech and stems, and as much as I like it, it is a pain. It actually takes me longer to maintain that. That was my knee clicking. It takes me longer to maintain that than it does my actual 90p because it's just so fiddly. And then next, I'll just do a big water change. I do big weekly water changes. I do drain this quite low, which my betters don't seem to mind it. Some people say don't do big water changes with betters, but I match the temperatures of the waters perfectly, so they never seem to bother. If you weren't matching the temperatures well, I maybe wouldn't, because betters don't like being shocked or like cold water. So I do measure it in the sink with a accurate calibrated thermometer to make sure it's pretty much dead on. So yeah. Now just, again, like waft this hose, just to try and get some of the debris. The problem with this tank now it's getting old is a lot of the wood is actually beginning to break down. So I get a lot of like broken off bits of wood. Almost, you'd think there was a plaque in the tank. It's like just small disintegrated bits. But it'll be all right for a while yet. As I say, I want to keep it as long as I can, so I'm not too worried. It's all part of a natural process, unless it started giving me some issues like algae problems or something, if it was producing a lot of waste organics as it was breaking down. But with a weekly water change, I can't see that really being too much of a problem. There we go. So as you can see, that is quite a big water change, but it's what I pretty much do on all of the tanks. The only time I wouldn't do that is if I had something like really, really sensitive. But yeah, seems to be fine. The glassware does need doing on this, so I am going to pop the glassware off and soak that in some like bleach and water solution. You can use things like ADA Superge, which I normally do, but I've run out. And I find that product really good because it seems to stop the algae being able to build back up as quickly in the pipes. But I've run out of that, so I'm going to use just some good old bleach and water and just leave it for a little bit longer. At this point, if the sand needed refreshing or the gravel, I would add that in as well. I know it would make the water a little bit cloudy, but the filter's absolutely fine to take care of that. I'm going to get rid of that leaf because it's touching the glass. So I think I will pop this glassware off. We will fill up with some temperature correct water, and I will add either into the bucket or into the tank. I suppose it doesn't really matter, but I always use Prime, or the NT Labs do one which I've used as well called Optimus, which is very, very similar. Optimus Prime. If no one got that, it's a Transformers reference, by the way. Maybe my nerd showing. But yeah, Optimus is very, very similar to Prime. Works exactly the same. And I think either or are good products, but I've got Prime, so that's what I'm going to use. It's extremely concentrated, so you don't actually need to use a lot in a tank like this. But I'm probably going to add it to the water and then pour it in slowly. But for now, I'm just going to take the glassware off. It's a bit fiddly how I've set these tanks up, taking glassware off. If you've got an Oase filter, you can pop off the inlet and outlet flow and then twist it, and it will drain the water from the pipes. So you're not getting water everywhere when you do this. And then to get glassware off, don't pull, push it on more and it breaks the seal, and then you can gently wiggle it off and it comes off really easily. Never ever touch or put any pressure on this curved part of the glassware, because you'll probably end up in hospital. And again, same with the inlet, just push it down. You kind of hear like a break, but not a glass break. Then you can just wiggle gently, comes off nice and easy. This is like nano glassware for this tank, and I purposely changed it to a spin pipe. One, because I've got a better and they don't like fast flow, and two, it does kind of reduce it. And I do find if you've seen the previous videos that I've done talking about BBA, because the hardscape is very much in the middle, like the bulk of it, and this outlet kind of sits in line with it. I was getting some BBA build up, so when I changed it to this, it did reduce it. Don't get me wrong, I still get it a little bit, whatever's kind of in immediate way of the flow when it splits out of this spin pipe. But it's definitely calmed down. The only other time I notice I get it is if I clean the filter out and the flow's massively increased. I always seem to get it on there isn't anymore because I pulled it out, but there was some Montevidensis in the back. It just got smothered in BBA, so I took it out. But yeah, they will go to be cleaned, and we will start filling with some fresh water. And I'll do this before I forget. I'll just put it in the tank. So that's going to be fine to add tap water to. So I have no fancy method. It's a good old B&Q bucket. Put your hand under it so it goes in slowly. Yeah, just pour slowly. Nothing fancy at all. Don't drop it like I just nearly did. one down. If you put your hand under it, it kind of stops whatever substrate you've got below going everywhere. It's really easy to sort the sand back out. So I'll go get bucket 2. Definitely need some muscles for this. Oh, need a bit more water, that's annoying. I'll go and get some. This is the thing I hate about winter water changes, is having to go get rid of the water outside because it's freezing. And I'm freezing. So I've got a jacket on that's like 10 times too big for me, but it's cold. With this tank, I mean, I'm doing it because I'm just in the habit of doing it because I'm doing a video, but they normally don't fill quite as full because it's a better tank, and betters are prone to jumping, touch wood. I don't even want to say it, but this little man has never really shown any interest in jumping, but that's not to say that one day it won't just happen. So I probably will take some water out of this tank, but for the sake of the end video, I'll keep it full. And then after this is when I do 1 out of 2 lots of weekly fertilisation. Now, for the most part on these tanks, I just do a really easy all-in-one fertilisation method, which I've talked about in a video lately. And this time we're just using 2-hour Aquarist. I think this is called APT3. If I don't have that on hand, I will just dose some trace, a little bit of nitrogen and potassium. Or sometimes, where is it? Oh, I'm looking in the cupboard, it's right there. Sometimes I dose this, which is, it's not quite a full all-in-one, it's just potassium, trace and iron. It's actually a product that's been discontinued, which is such a shame because I think it's so good, but it's part of the ADA 3-step range. So it's usually just one of these two. I'm not like overly bothered. It's just something for the plants. They're not particularly fast growers anyway, but I'll just do like two good pumps in it, and I'll do that again on Wednesday. No, I won't. It's Wednesday today. I'll do it again at the weekend, sorry. And that is pretty much it for that tank. Sometimes if things look a bit sorry for themselves, I sometimes add a bit of advance, just because it's quite a good thing to just sort of like help plants just get a bit of a boost, or especially if you like just started a new tank, it's good for that as well. If I notice anything particular, like things have got holes in or things look yellow, I'll usually do an individual dose of something, usually nitrogen or potassium. But honestly, for the most part, this tank has been absolutely fine with just any all-in-one. So that is pretty much nearly there. This is the thing I love about like an ADA 45p for like a beginner or somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, or maybe you've got a lot of tanks. It's like the perfect size because you can do like a really nice scape in it. It's nice dimensions because I find cubes a bit harder to scape in. I think it's just all around a really nice tank size. It kind of can fit in most spaces, and maintenance is really quick and easy. But the last thing that I need to do is clean these pipes, which have some really stubborn build-up of, I don't know what it is, it's just like brown staining, but these hoses are about 3 years old, so maybe that is just quite normal. I don't actually like this hose. I think it was from Chihiros, and it's weird. I don't like the feel of it, and it's like very bendy. Like the hose kinks quite easily, which I don't like, so I might get some new hose. I mean, it's been fine for the past 3 years, but it has started to discolour quite a bit, so I do want some nice clear hose. But you can't really see this this one's hosing too much, but you might be able to see all them brown spots. Maybe if I had a more abrasive brush, it'd probably get rid of them, but I don't. So I'm just gonna have to live with that. And now it's just time to clean the pipes. I've actually not bothered putting mine in a bleach solution because they're not actually that bad. I think I can just get it out with a spring brush. So we'll just do that this week. But if, as I say, if you were soaking it, or as I was gonna, you can do a fairly strong bleach solution. As I say, as long as you just soak it in some dechlorinated water afterwards, you'll be absolutely fine. Plus you've got chlorine, plus you've got like prime or whatever in the tank anyway, so it shouldn't really cause an issue. But I'm just gonna give it a quick clean with the spring brush. A little trick on an inlet, it doesn't matter if it's like a big one or a little one, when you get that like dirty layer in the bottom that's really hard to like get out with a spring brush, if you have some like leftover gravel, put it in, and then I'm gonna go do it and then shake it and it seems to get it out. So I've just put some gravel like in it, and then I need to get some water in it too, so that you like can rinse it round into that bit, and then once you get the gravel back out, it's all clean again. So that is a handy little trick for if you ever have a stubborn bit of like algae or whatever at the bottom of your... Oh, I've missed a bit on that pipe. It probably definitely actually would have been just quicker to soak these, but never mind. Right, outlet, inlet. Make sure I always end up sticking these on the wrong one. So that's the outlet, that's the in. So I'm going to do that first because it's the most awkward. And again, don't push from any curved part of the glassware. Just do it from the straight bits. There we go. So we can turn that filter and heater back on. Doing the old Oase purge. It'll stop. There we go. And then I'll overlay this. You can kind of, if you twist the inlet and outlet bit on the Oase, you can ever so slightly reduce the flow. Don't do it all the way because it'd probably leak, but you can just twist it so it's not on like full blast. And then last but not least, glass clean, because you don't want to do all that and then have a dirty smeared tank. And on days where you don't even need to do glassware, like this takes 15-20 minutes, like it's so easy and so quick. The other thing I want to do is this tank has duckweed in it, which really annoys me, but I also think it contributes to how good this tank does. So I don't like to get rid of too much of it, but I like to net some of it out because I swear it just spawns overnight. But I do think it has something to do with the success that I've had with this tank. So I won't fully get rid of it. There's also some like excess leaves in there that I've trimmed off. I mean, even if I thought I did fully get rid of it, I can guarantee you that you wouldn't. And there we go. That is pretty much my maintenance routine on this ADA 45P. It's the exact same with the 45F. That's got a lot more immersed growth, so that requires a bit more trimming on the top because tripartita grows like crazy. so I sometimes have to pull it out of the water column a bit. Other than that, it's literally the exact same. And if you're interested in how I do it on my high-tech tank, if you're interested, let me know and I will do one for you. But I hope this maybe helped if it's something that you're just starting out with and you weren't sure if you were doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in seeing any more content where it's pretty much just me general chit-chatting whilst I tinker with my tanks, then please let me know in the comments. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.